Well, it's Friday, and I know a lot of you are already thinking about the weekend, but unfortunately, we begin with some really tough news out of Southeast Asia.
Yeah, a powerful 7.7 magnitude earthquake shook the region.
It hit Myanmar and Thailand pretty hard.
The early reports are pretty devastating.
Yeah, the initial numbers we're getting are just staggering.
Over 140 people dead, hundreds injured, and those are just the figures coming out of Myanmar.
And in Thailand, at least 8 deaths have been reported so far.
Sadly, though, we know from experience that these numbers are likely to rise as rescue and recovery efforts continue.
It's just a heartbreaking situation that really turns lives upside down.
I think it's safe to say this is a significant event.
Absolutely. And to get a clearer picture of what's happening, we're going to take a deep dive into the immediate impact, the geographical scope, and how people are responding to this disaster.
Yeah, it's really important to look beyond just the headlines.
For example, we're hearing about a 33-story building that completely collapsed in Bangkok. That's a major city.
And that's not all. In Myanmar, the epicenter was near Mandalay, and the reports from there are even more grim.
They're saying a dam burst, roads have split open, and a 90-year-old bridge near Mandalay was destroyed.
Plus, we have to remember that Myanmar is already dealing with internal conflict.
Right, that's going to complicate relief efforts significantly.
Absolutely. So let's dive into the details and try to understand just how widespread this disaster is.
Let's start with Myanmar. It sounds like the damage there is just catastrophic.
Yeah, the reports coming out of the country paint a pretty devastating picture.
Buildings collapsing, roads splitting, a dam bursting. It just sounds like a scene from a disaster movie.
And that historic bridge collapsing near Mandalay is especially symbolic.
It really emphasizes the force of this earthquake.
Exactly. A 90-year-old bridge that stood for almost a century just wiped out like that.
It's a reminder of how powerful nature can be.
And tragically, this disaster is hitting a nation that's already struggling.
Myanmar has been in turmoil for years, with the military government led by General Min Aung Hlaing locked in conflict with various rebel groups.
It's a complex and volatile situation.
And now with this earthquake on top of it, everything is just amplified.
Absolutely. It's a multi-layered crisis now.
Our sources say that the military government has acknowledged the rising death toll, and they've appealed for international assistance.
That's a good sign, at least.
But getting aid into Myanmar and distributing it effectively is going to be a huge challenge.
Logistically and politically, it's a nightmare.
These rebel groups control large areas of the country, and they're not exactly known for cooperating with the government.
Exactly. So aid organizations are going to have to navigate a very difficult landscape to reach the people who need help.
It's a race against time because every hour counts in a situation like this.
Absolutely. And we have to hope that all parties involved prioritize the humanitarian needs of the people affected by this disaster.
It's a reminder of the importance of cooperation and setting aside differences when it comes to saving lives.
It's exactly. People's lives are at stake here, and that should transcend any political divisions.
Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about Thailand.
Even though the epicenter wasn't in Thailand, the impact there has still been significant.
Yeah, that 33-story building collapse in Bangkok is just shocking.
It's hard to imagine a structure that size just crumbling like that.
The image is pretty jarring, a modern skyscraper reduced to rubble.
And it raises serious questions about building codes and construction practices.
Especially in a city like Bangkok, which is known for its tall buildings.
Right. You have to wonder if this tragedy could have been prevented.
It's something investigators will definitely be looking into.
And the impact on Bangkok goes beyond just that one building.
Yeah, the city's metro system had to be shut down, which caused massive traffic jams.
And we're also hearing reports of a construction crane collapsing.
For a city that prides itself on efficiency and modernity, this is a major disruption.
It shows that even in a developed urban environment, a powerful earthquake can cause chaos.
And the psychological impact shouldn't be underestimated either.
Absolutely. People in Bangkok aren't used to experiencing earthquakes.
Right, it's not something they typically have to worry about.
So this event is likely to have shaken them up literally and figuratively.
We came across a first-hand account from an office worker in Bangkok named April Kanichawanakul.
What did she have to say?
She said that when the shaking started, she just thought she was feeling dizzy.
That's understandable in a way.
It highlights how unexpected and disorienting an earthquake can be, especially in a region where they're not common.
And it underscores the importance of earthquake preparedness, even in areas that aren't considered high risk.
It's a reminder that we can't predict when and where these events will happen.
Exactly. We have to be prepared for anything.
Now, it's interesting to note that the impact of this earthquake Wasn't limited to Myanmar and Thailand.
Right. The shock waves were felt in neighboring China as well.
Reports are coming in from the Yunnan and Sichuan provinces of buildings sustaining cracks and people getting injured.
A 7.7 magnitude earthquake releases an enormous amount of energy.
And those seismic waves can travel for hundreds of kilometers.
So it's not surprising that there would be some effects felt in China.
We even heard about ambulances being deployed in the city of Ruli.
That gives you an idea of the scale of this event.
So, as we wrap up this initial look at the earthquake's impact, the situation in Myanmar seems particularly dire.
Yeah, they're facing a double whammy of widespread destruction and a complex political situation.
Rebuilding is going to be a monumental task.
And it's going to require a massive coordinated effort from both inside and outside the country.
Thailand, on the other hand, seems to be in a slightly better position.
They have a more stable government and a stronger infrastructure.
So hopefully their recovery will be quicker and smoother.
But it's important not to downplay the impact on Thailand.
Of course, the loss of life and the damage to buildings are significant.
And there's also the psychological trauma that people have experienced.
It's going to take time for everyone to heal and rebuild.
This event really highlights how interconnected this region is.
Not just geographically, but also in terms of shared vulnerabilities.
And it underscores the need for international cooperation in times of crisis.
So as we conclude this deep dive, we want to leave you with a thought to consider.
What can we learn from this tragedy?
How can we better prepare for future disasters?
And how can we strengthen international cooperation to provide effective aid?
These are crucial questions that deserve our attention.
Because the next earthquake could strike anywhere at any time.
And we need to be ready.
Absolutely. We have to learn from this experience and work together to build a more resilient future.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and we encourage you to stay informed and engaged with this important issue.
It's a topic that affects us all,